Swadika, hello and welcome. You're watching ASEAN Challenge, the show to give you the latest headlines, hot topics and updates happening around your ASEAN bloc in two languages, Thai and English. I'm Rosalyn Tepawan.
And I'm Alisa สิทธิวงศ์ขอต้อนรับคุณผู้ชมทุกท่านเข้าสู่รายการ ASEAN Challenge ค่ะข่าวสารรอบอาเซียนเป็นภาษาอังกฤษและภาษาไทยค่ะ
And kicking off our ASEAN show, let's head around to Myanmar this time and ASEAN around us to see what is happening there as Aung San Suu Kyi this week comes out to break her silence in a huge national address that many have anticipated since the latest spark of violence in Rakhine State on August 25th.
That's right. So on September 19th, Aung San Suu Kyi, Myanmar's leader, has condemned in terms of the human rights violation in troubled Rakhine State and said that everyone who is responsible will be facing the law, and she of course felt deeply sorrow for the suffering of people in the conflict around that area as well.
Right, and this is the first address for a while now since many have anticipated her response to the growing escalating violence in Rakhine State. Many have criticized her as being silent and not siding with the group, the victims here in this case, but she has come out to condemn, as you mentioned, all the violence and said action will be taken according to the rule of law. But at the same time, she had earlier cancelled an important meeting at the UN. Perhaps in response to that, this national address had taken place and decrying the suffering of the Rakhine or the Rohingyas.
That's right. So speaking of the UN, the United Nations has actually branded the military operations in the western state of ethnic cleansing, and they actually call it what they call the textbook of ethnic cleansing as well. Now, in terms of Aung San Suu Kyi, she said that Myanmar did not fear international scrutiny and was committed to a sustainable solution to the strife as well.
Right. Following up to that particular case, so authorities are trying to take action now. Still, we see 500,000 Rohingya still in limbo, perhaps on the way to Bangladesh or already in Bangladesh. In particular, there's a refugee area in Kutupalong area of Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh where many Rohingya are staying and seeking shelter and basic food there, but still their resources are running thin.
That's
as
right.
International communities and various countries' authorities are trying to pitch in to help, but it's still not enough.
Turning to Bangladesh itself, it says that it is struggling to cope with the refugees, and aid workers fear people could die due to lack of food, shelter, and water, given the numbers. As we can see here, there's a lot of people, and as you mentioned, 500,000 already are trying to flee into Bangladesh. Bangladesh has said that all refugees must go home. Now, in terms of Myanmar, though, they have said that they will take back those who can verify their citizenships.
The difficult part is many Rohingya, for the most part, lack citizenship because they are denied citizenship altogether in Myanmar, as they are still considered outsiders, and to Bangladesh also considering them outsiders as well. They still lack any kind of identity, and many call them, you could say, nomads. So that said, still many Rohingya face that difficulty, not being able to verify their citizenship.
That's right. But in terms of Myanmar and Aung San Suu Kyi's speech, now in Yangon, residents there have voiced their support for Suu Kyi, and several of them have come out to the city hall in Yangon in order to show their support for Aung San Suu Kyi as she broke her silence and held a national address before foreign diplomats in the capital of Naypyidaw. Now, some of the Yangon residents said that they wanted to show their support even though that they did not understand the speech, which was made in English, while others had reiterated that they wanted peace in the country indeed.
Right, and so with that said, we still have different opposing forces at work here in Myanmar and abroad concerning Rohingyas, and that said, the case continues as different authorities are still trying to step in to help, with what we reported earlier, Malaysia stepping in, Indonesia offering help as well, as other countries like Japan and the US and the UN, and much, much more. And so the case continues as still the Rohingya remain in limbo in Bangladesh and in between. But altogether, the population is millions, around 2 million Bangladesh, or rather Rohingya, populating the Rakhine state and still facing troubles. And so the solution is still in limbo as well, it seems.
That's right. So we can see that several countries and organizations, the UN, we're all trying to help out and trying to bring peace back to Myanmar. So hopefully that's going to be able to restore now. And after that, Aung San Suu Kyi has made a national address. Hopefully that there will be some pushes in order to make some changes.
ใช่แล้วค่ะ
โอเคค่ะมาดูกันในส่วนแรกค่ะ ASEAN Around Us นะคะมาดูสถานการณ์ที่เกิดขึ้นที่ประเทศเมียนมานั่นเองค่ะอย่างที่เราทราบกันดีนะคะว่าทางรัฐยะไข่นะคะก็มีสถานการณ์เกี่ยวกับชาวโรฮิงญามุสลิมนะคะซึ่งประมาณเกือบ500,000 คนนะคะก็ได้ลี้ภัยไปทางบังกลาเทศแล้วในคราวนี้ค่ะทางนางองซานซูจีก็ได้ออกมากล่าวว่ารัฐบาลของเธอเนี่ยนะคะก็ไม่ได้กลัวการตรวจสอบของจากประชาคมโลกต่อการจัดการวิกฤตการณ์ในครั้งนี้นะคะที่รัฐยะไข่ซึ่งเนื่องจากทุกฝ่ายเนี่ยก็พยายามที่จะหาทุกวิถีทางตามกรอบของกฎหมายเพื่อที่จะฟื้นฟูเสถียรภาพและสันติภาพให้กลับคืนสู่บ้านเมืองนั่นเองค่ะปัจจุบันเนี่ยก็มีคนชาวโรฮิงญาที่พยายามที่จะลี้ภัยเข้าบังกลาเทศโอ้โหนับหลายแสนคนเลยทีเดียวแต่ทางบังกลาเทศเนี่ยก็ไม่สามารถที่จะรองรับได้นะคะก็เกิดสถานการณ์ที่ว่าบางคนเนี่ยก็ต้องถูกส่งกลับแต่ว่าทางเมียนมาเองก็บอกว่าถ้าหากไม่มี citizenship เนี่ยไม่มีสัญชาติเนี่ยก็ไม่สามารถกลับเข้ามาได้
ค่ะเพราะฉะนั้นทางชาวโรฮิงญาก็ยังเจอปัญหาเหมือนเดิมนะคะเพราะว่ายังไม่มีสัญชาติที่ชัดเจนของประเทศพม่านะคะเมียนมาส่วนบังกลาเทศก็ต้องการที่จะส่งกลุ่ม refugee ที่ลี้ภัยกลับประเทศเพราะว่าสถานที่นะคะกุตพลองในประเทศบังกลาเทศก็นับว่าล้นมากแล้วค่ะเกิน 400,000 นะคะเกือบ 500,000 ซึ่งในขณะนี้ก็ยังมีชาวโรฮิงญาดำเนินการหรือว่าเดินทางลี้ภัยอยู่เพราะฉะนั้นปัญหาก็ยังไม่จบนะคะถึงแม้ว่านางอังซังซูจีออกมาพูดว่าจะจัดการเรื่องราวตามกฎหมายตามการถูกต้องนะคะก็เราก็จะรายงานต่อไปเรื่อยๆนะคะว่าจะมีอัปเดตยังไงบ้าง
All right. With that said, we're going to take a short break now. Coming up next, we have some news updates going on our ASEAN block in the ASEAN Hot Issue. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the show into ASEAN Hot Topics. Now we take a look at headlines making news over the week around ASEAN. We continue with what's going on in Bangladesh with the situation following a meeting with the UN with Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina speaking to Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, regarding the Rohingya issue.
That's right. So after the UN meeting, of course, the two of them had the opportunity to meet up and speak to each other. And according to the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh, she has said that they expect no help from the United States in terms of refugees fleeing from Myanmar. Now, of course, Donald Trump and the Prime Minister of Bangladesh were talking together, and what happened was Donald Trump asked the Prime Minister, "So how's Bangladesh going?" And she replies, "Well, it's doing very well, but the only problem we have is refugees from Myanmar." And after that, of course, Donald Trump apparently did not make any comments about the refugees.
As a result of that, Bangladesh authorities have concluded that the U.S. will not offer much help. It's not worth asking the U.S. for help concerning the Rohingya Muslim refugees because Trump's stance on refugees had been clear enough. There you go.
So Myanmar military response to insurgent attacks last month in the country's Rakhine state sent more than 410,000 Rohingya Muslims, maybe even more, fleeing into neighboring Bangladesh, escaping what the United Nations is branding as ethnic cleansing, also what they call textbook of ethnic cleansing as well. And these Rohingya migrants, as we mentioned in the prior break, that they're not staying in a very good situation or sanitation in which Bangladesh is trying to send them back into Myanmar. Myanmar will only accept them if they have citizenship, so it's an ongoing conflict between the borderlines of Bangladesh and Myanmar.
Right, the likelihood that the Rohingya will get citizenship is an uphill battle. And so that said, we have to watch and monitor to see how the situation unfolds as the Rohingya are, in a way, there's a tug of war, ping-pong back and forth between Bangladesh and Myanmar, and how the two states will discuss with each other what to do next and how to handle the situation.
That's right. So we can see that it's a very hot topic that's going on back in Myanmar. Of course, Aung San Suu Kyi made her national address, and the United Nations itself has brought up the issue as well in order to resolve what's going on and bring peace back into the country of Myanmar.
Right, indeed. So the ball is in the court once again still of Myanmar, and so far there's not really concrete solution as to what will happen to the Rohingya as the so-called textbook definition of ethnic cleansing continues.
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาดูกันในส่วนข่าวต่างๆในอาเซียนฮอตอิชชูค่ะมาเริ่มกันที่ประเด็นแรกนะคะมากันที่ประเทศบังกลาเทศค่ะซึ่งทางบังกลาเทศหรือทางนายกรัฐมนตรีหญิงของบังกลาเทศนั่นเองค่ะชิคฮาซีนานะคะก็ได้กล่าวหลังจากการประชุมย่อยของการประชุมสมัชชาใหญ่ของสหประชาชาติหรือว่า UNGA นั่นเองค่ะก็เธอได้มีโอกาสได้พูดคุยกับประธานาธิบดีของสหรัฐอเมริกาโดนัลด์ทรัมป์นั่นเองค่ะและสิ่งที่ได้กลับมาจากการพูดคุยนะคะทางบังกลาเทศก็ไม่คาดหวังว่าสหรัฐจะช่วยในเรื่องของโรฮิงญา
ใช่ค่ะเพราะว่าคำตอบของทรัมป์นะคะก็เป็นคำตอบที่เงียบกริบเลยนะคะในเวลาพูดถึงชาวโรฮิงญาซึ่งทางหัวหน้าประเทศบังกลาเทศก็บอกว่าคงต้องช่วยตัวเองนั่นแหละค่ะเพราะว่าคงไม่ได้รับการช่วยเหลือจากประเทศอื่นอย่างเช่นอเมริกาเพราะฉะนั้นในขณะนี้นะคะก็ต้องติดต่อประสานงานกับทางประเทศเมียนมาให้ชัดเจนมากขึ้นเพราะว่าสุดท้ายแล้วปัญหาก็ต้องแก้ระหว่าง2ประเทศนี้นั่นแหละค่ะ
ต้องค่ะก็ถือว่าปัจจุบันเนี่ยคนชาวโรฮิงญาที่กำลังที่จะลี้ภัยเข้าบังกลาเทศเนี่ยก็นับว่า 400,000 กว่าคนเกือบ 500,000 คนแล้วในทางบังกลาเทศก็ไม่สามารถที่จะรองรับจำนวนคนนี้ได้ก็ต้องส่งกลับแต่ว่าทางเมียนมาเนี่ยก็ไม่สามารถที่จะรับกลับคืนมาได้นอกเหนือจากว่าชาวโรฮิงญาพวกนี้จะมีสัญชาติซึ่งชาวโรฮิงญาส่วนใหญ่ก็ไม่มีสัญชาติก็เป็นประเด็นสำคัญที่ทาง UN ก็ได้ยกขึ้นมาทางองซานซูจีก็ได้ยกขึ้นมาหลายๆประเทศก็พยายามที่จะช่วยเหลือเช่นเดียวกันค่ะ
ใช่ในขณะนี้วิธีการช่วยเหลือของกลุ่มหลายองค์กรอื่นๆนะคะก็คือได้ช่วยเหลือทางด้านอาหารแล้วก็ของใช้ของจำเป็นนะคะที่ส่งเข้าบังกลาเทศแล้วก็ส่งเข้ายะไข่รัฐยะไข่เช่นกันนะคะแต่ว่าในขณะนี้เรื่องที่สำคัญนะคะเรื่องสัญชาติแล้วก็เรื่องการรุนแรงที่เกิดขึ้นเป็นระยะในยะไข่นะคะในรัฐยะไข่ยังไม่หยุดนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นเราก็ต้องจับตาดูแล้วก็ช่วยกันหาทางออกอะค่ะ
But moving on into similar news up still relating to Myanmar and the situation going on in the Rakhine state and Rohingyas. In terms of Britain has urged that Myanmar should push to an end to violence, urging Aung San Suu Kyi to push for an end to it once and for all, and in which British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson has said this, in which he hosted a ministerial meeting on Monday to discuss ways in order to resolve the Rohingya crisis going on in Myanmar, around Bangladesh as well, which included ministers from Turkey, Australia, and U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations as well, Nikki Haley.
Right, indeed, saying that altogether different organizations, groups, and countries should unify to press and pressure the violence to stop in Myanmar. He said in his own words, we not just look at the military, but also to Aung San Suu Kyi to show a lead on that and put pressure on different groups to stop the action altogether.
That's right. So we can see that a lot of countries, even not in Asia, we can see Britain has come out in order to try to make an end, push to an end to the violence going on in the Rakhine state and in Myanmar, pushing Aung San Suu Kyi to do something about the situation faster.
Right. In response, as we mentioned earlier, that Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi, she has been facing a huge tide of criticism from abroad for not stopping the violence, and she spoke recently in response to these movements here from abroad as a very important defining moment for Myanmar. And still, despite that, we still have yet to see a concrete plan of action coming from Myanmar to stop the violence and really organize the situation.
That's right มาดูกันต่อนะคะในส่วนข่าวที่2ซึ่งยังต่อเนื่องจากข่าวที่เกี่ยวข้องกับชาวโรฮิงญาในประเทศเมียนมานะคะแต่ว่ามาดูกันที่สถานการณ์ที่อังกฤษกันบ้างค่ะซึ่งทางอังกฤษนะคะก็ได้เรียกร้องให้ทางเมียนมาเร่งแก้ปัญหาชาวโรฮิงญาในรัฐยะไข่และในเมียนมาซึ่งชาวโรฮิงญานับหลายแสนคนเลยทีเดียวค่ะก็พยายามที่จะลี้ภัยเข้าบังกลาเทศซึ่งนายบอริสจอนสันค่ะรัฐมนตรีว่าการกระทรวงการต่างประเทศของสหราชอาณาจักรนะคะก็ได้เป็นเจ้าภาพการจัดการประชุมระดับรั รัฐมนตรีเพื่อหารือเกี่ยวกับสถานการณ์ของผู้ลี้ภัยชาวโรฮิงญานั่นเองค่ะซึ่งหลบหนีจากการสู้รบจากรัฐยะไข่นะคะในเมียนมาเข้าสู่บังกลาเทศซึ่งนางองซานซูจีนะคะก็คือทางบอริสเนี่ยก็ได้พูดกล่าวออกมาว่านางองซานซูจีเนี่ยต้องยุติการละเมิดสิทธิมนุษยชนต่อชาวโรฮิงญาทันที
ค่ะก็ในขณะนี้ทางผู้บริหารประเทศนะคะก็นับว่า de facto leader องซันซูจีก็อาจจะมีปัญหาใหญ่จริงๆที่จะเกิดขึ้นเร็วๆนี้ล่ะค่ะเพราะว่ายังไม่มีวิธีการแก้แบบชัดเจนนะคะปัญหาเรื่องชาวโรฮิงเกียในประเทศแล้วในขณะเดียวกันนะคะการที่จะให้สัญชาติมันไม่ใช่อะไรที่ง่ายๆโดยเฉพาะการสืบทอดพิธีกรรมหรือว่าวัฒนธรรมจากทางรัฐบาลทหารเก่านะคะก็ต้องมีการเปลี่ยนแปลงปรับปรุงมากขึ้นเรื่อยๆเราก็จะคอยจับตาดูนะคะว่าจะมีการแก้ปัญหายังไงบ้าง
ใช่แล้วค่ะ Anyways, moving on to some other news updates now in terms of the environment and some of the disasters going on around the world. Now, we know that recently there have been various typhoons and hurricanes going around in the Caribbean, in America, South America. Now, but turning to the Typhoon Doksuri in Vietnam. Now, that one has caused a lot of damage in Asia as well, and specifically in Vietnam, and in which has killed at least 6 people. This was the records of last week, and 30,000 homes have been destroyed from the typhoon as well. At 11 a.m. Friday last week, of course, the eye of the typhoon went to Ha Tinh and Quang Binh provinces in the central coastal regions of Vietnam, that was the area that suffered from the maximum damage from the typhoon.
A lot of local residents have voiced their problems that they didn't even see the typhoon coming and barely had any time to move any of their goods out of their house before the typhoon struck, resulting in what you see here, lost roofs and lost homes and tons of damage in the wake of the typhoon.
That's right. A couple of interviews were conducted in terms of what people felt, as we can see on screen at the moment now. Now, one of the interviewees has mentioned that I was very scared, I quote, when the typhoon came, but I could not do anything except for watch the roof of my residence suddenly disappear. This is what a villager whose roof was completely blown away by the typhoon had said. Now, another person said that I'm in my mid-50s, but I've never seen such a strong typhoon. It was really a powerful one. The gale was already strong at around 9 to 10 a.m. in the morning. Many residents were blown down. Due to strong gale, we couldn't go out and had to crowd one room to take shelter from the wind.
Right, and not only the homes were destroyed, what you can see here is the uprooting of so much vegetation, so many trees causing a lot of litter and damage in the residential communities here. So local firefighters are trying to work round the clock to remove the debris, uprooted trees, broken branches from the ground to help families also transfer their belongings to a new place as they rebuild what was damaged.
And as a result as well, the central coastal area of the region, of course, has seen a large-scale power outage involving over 130,000 families, and the supply has not been completely restored. Local communication was disrupted by the typhoon, which is now also starting to become recovered.
Right. So with that said, though, this time and this season all around the world we're seeing so many natural disasters, not only as you mentioned the Caribbean, the United States, now in our ASEAN community as well as in the Philippines and much more. So with that said, it's time to once again unify and try to help prevent these problems being impossible but mitigate the crises quickly. But luckily the number of casualties has limited to 6. The number of damaged homes and damaged houses have been limited compared to previous ones.
That's right. So exactly, if you're talking about in South America with Typhoon Maria, that one was a very damaging one with over 100 people losing their lives in that one, and it's moving all over the Caribbean. So of course, around the world, all these typhoons and hurricanes going on, there has to be a way in order to warn citizens and mitigate them in terms of what to do next in preparation.
Indeed, as La Nina continues and the world also tries to work around the clock.
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาดูกันต่อนะคะมาดูกันข่าวที่เกี่ยวข้องกับวิกฤตการณ์ทางธรรมชาติกันบ้างนะคะไต้ฝุ่นทกซุรินะคะก็ได้ ถล่มเวียดนามนั่นเองค่ะก็มีผู้ที่เสียชีวิตไปทั้งหมดประมาณ6คนด้วยกันนะคะแล้วก็ได้ทำลายบ้านเรือนกว่า 30,000 หลังคาเรือนกันก็ถือว่าเป็นไต้ฝุ่นที่รุนแรงแต่ว่าก็ยังโชคดีที่ไม่ได้มีคนเสียชีวิตไปมากกว่านี้นะคะก็ในส่วนของหลังจากที่เกิดเหตุการณ์แล้วก็ได้มีการไฟฟ้าก็ดับไปนะคะก็กว่า 130,000 ครัวเรือนหรือครอบครัวก็มีผลกระทบจากเรื่องนี้เช่นเดียวกันค่ะ
ใช่ค่ะในขณะนี้ตามที่เราเห็นทางภาพฟิล์มนะคะก็ในจังหวัดกวามบินนะคะก็มีเจ้าหน้าที่หลายคนออกมาสำรวจการเสียหายของบ้านนะคะแล้วก็พื้นที่แล้วก็ได้เห็นนะคะว่าหลังคาได้เสียหายไปพร้อมหน้าพร้อมตาคนวิ่งออกจากบ้านก็เห็นหลังคาตัวเองถูกยกไปพร้อมกับใต้ฝุ่นเลยนะคะก็บอกว่ามันมาแบบรวดเร็วไม่ได้ทันเตรียมตัวหรือว่าตั้งตัวหรือว่าเอาของที่มีค่าออกจากบ้านเลยนะคะไม่ใช่แค่นั้นแต่ต้นไม้ก็ได้ถูกถอนขึ้นมาทั้งรากเลยนะคะขณะนี้เจ้าหน้าที่แล้วก็กลุ่มที่คอยดูแลปัญหาหลายๆต่างๆเนี่ยค่ะก็ออกมาช่วยชาวบ้านย้ายพื้นที่กันเพื่อที่จะตั้งหลักกันใหม่ค่ะ
ก็หลายๆคนก็ไม่น่าจะเคยเจอสถานการณ์แบบนี้มาก่อนก็ได้สัมภาษณ์ไปทางสื่อต่างๆว่าไม่คิดว่าเหตุการณ์แบบนี้จะเกิดขึ้นตกใจมากๆที่เกิดขึ้นแบบนี้นะคะก็ต้องช่วงนี้ก็ต้องระมัดระวังกันนะคะเพราะว่าเหตุการณ์ที่เกี่ยวข้องกับภัยธรรมชาติเนี่ยก็ค่อนข้างที่จะเยอะทั่วโลกเลยทีเดียวก็ต้องระมัดระวังกันแล้วก็ติดตามข่าวสารกันค่ะ
ใช่ค่ะทีนี้ taking a look at what's happening around Cambodia now in our ASEAN community, moving from natural disasters to a different note here. The Cambodian opposition party has continued taking action to block the movement of the government in their crackdown against the opposition in the lead up to the elections in Cambodia in 2018 now. The main opposition party was blocked, in fact, actually, from holding their memorial ceremony earlier Wednesday for victims of a 1997 grenade attack on a political rally, with tensions now continuing to run high after the recent arrest of its leader.
That's right. So the recent arrest, as you have mentioned, Kem Sokha, leader of the Cambodian National Rescue Party, or CNRP, was arrested on September 3rd and accused of plotting treason against the government of Prime Minister Hun Sen with the help of the United States. Now, as you mentioned, they had planned to hold a gathering and Buddhist ceremony at a memorial in the capital of Phnom Penh in order to mark an attack which at least 16 people were killed at a rally on March 30th, 1997, organized by former opposition leader Sam Rainsy. Now, similar memorials have been permitted in previous years around the Prachum Ben festival when Cambodians pay respect to deceased ancestors.
Also, we can see this is a time of importance for Cambodia, but at the same time, we see the harshness and the severity of the crackdown against the opposition in the lead up to the elections here, you could say, with Hun Sen himself accusing the opposition leader of a lot of corruption, of discussions, and you could say under the table dealings with third bodies like the United States, for example, also cracking down recently on English independent media and other critics and you could say even non-government organizations ahead of the general election next year. So this is expected to be one of the most toughest electoral challenges for the current reigning leader of several decades, Hun Sen. And you could say that this crackdown is like a mirror that reflects the toughness and the challenges ahead for the ruling party of Cambodia.
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาดูกันต่อที่ประเทศกัมพูชากันบ้างนะคะท่ามกลางช่วงเวลาที่อาจจะตึงเครียดทางการเมืองของประเทศกัมพูชานั่นเองค่ะซึ่งทางกัมพูชานั่นเองนะคะฝ่ายค้านก็ได้วางแผนตั้งแรกค่ะได้วางแผนที่จะจัดงานและมีพิธีทางศาสนาพุทธเพื่อรำลึกถึงแล้วก็ให้เกียรติผู้ที่เสียชีวิตจากการเคลื่อนไหวต่อต้านการรัฐประหารเมื่อปี 2540 ค่ะซึ่งได้มีผู้ที่เสียชีวิตไป16คนในช่วงนั้นนะคะแต่ว่างานนี้นะคะก็โดนบล็อกไปจากทางรัฐบาลนะคะนอกจากนี้นะคะก็ทางเคมซุกนะคะที่เป็นผู้นำฝ่ายค้านของกัมพูชาก็ไม่ได้รับอนุญาตให้เข้าร่วมพิธีต่างๆที่เกี่ยวข้องกับตรงนี้แล้วก็ไม่นานมานี้ก็ได้ถูกกล่าวหาในเรื่องของการเป็นกบฏนะคะต่อต้านรัฐบาลของฮุนเซนร่วมกับสหรัฐนั่นเอง
ค่ะแล้วก็อาจจะพิจารณากันได้ว่าการบล็อกหรือว่าการควบคุมแบบเข้มงวดนะคะฝ่ายการค้านเนี่ยฝ่ายค้านก็อาจจะเป็น กระจกสะท้อนถึงความท้าทายในการที่จะเตรียมการนะคะแคมเปญเพื่อที่จะเลือกตั้งปีหน้าสำหรับพรรคของฮุนเซนนั่นเองค่ะเพราะฉะนั้นเราก็ต้องติดตามดูว่าจะมีกฎหรือว่ามีการควบคุมอะไรต่อไปนะคะก่อนที่จะถึงเวลาช่วงเลือกตั้งช่วงกลางปีหน้านะคะของฮุนเซนแล้วก็พรรคอื่นๆนั่นเองค่ะ
Moving on to some lighter news updates now from Singapore and China, in which Singapore Prime Minister has met with Chinese counterpart from Beijing. Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong has met with his Chinese counterpart Premier Li Keqiang on Tuesday, September 19th in Beijing. Now, of course, this is to strengthen the relationship between the two countries, which has been in a strong relationship and bonding for a very long time now. Lee first hosted a welcome ceremony for the Singaporean Prime Minister at the Great Hall of the People before the two sat down into a meeting.
Right, indeed. With that, the ceremony itself has been something quite elaborate to represent the long-standing relationship between both countries here, with a welcome ceremony being quite extravagant. Lee is expected to meet President Xi Jinping as well, and has met actually earlier this week, departing Thursday. But altogether, the meeting itself has been quite positive, being warm, long-standing, representing the friendship between both countries.
That's right. So even though there might be a lot of tension between other countries and in other issues, it's glad to see that there are some good and positive news today. And in terms of the relationship between Singapore and China, they have a lot to talk about in terms of collaborations, and hopefully their meeting would produce fruitful outcomes in the future for both countries.
Indeed, and we'll keep you posted on more visits, as Lee had visited China for 3 days and perhaps on to the next to discuss more bilateral ties between different countries. ASEAN++.
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาดูกันในส่วนข่าวที่ค่อนข้างที่จะเบาๆหน่อยค่ะข่าวดีกันบ้างนะคะความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างประเทศสิงคโปร์กับจีนนั่นเองค่ะซึ่งทางนายกรัฐมนตรีของสิงคโปร์นายหลี่เซี่ยงลุงนะคะก็ได้เดินทางเยือนจีนอย่างเป็นทางการโดยได้เข้าพบกับนายกรัฐมนตรีหลี่เค่อเฉียงของจีนในวันอังคารที่19กันยายนที่ผ่านมาค่ะก็เป็นการยกระดับความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างทั้งสองประเทศในหลายๆด้านเลยทีเดียว
ใช่ค่ะแล้วอย่างที่เราเห็นนะคะก็เป็นการต้อนรับแบบอบอุ่นด้วยเช่นกันนะคะระหว่างสองประเทศซึ่งทางลีเซียนลุงนะคะหัวหน้าประเทศสิงคโปร์ก็ได้คุยกันหลายเรื่องหลายประเด็นเพื่อที่จะต่อยอดนะคะความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างสองประเทศซึ่งก็นับว่าเป็นข่าวที่ดีนะคะสำหรับอาเซียนบวกๆค่ะ Alright, and with that said, those are the hot topics for ASEAN Challenge this week, and we'll keep you posted on more coming up. But for now, let's take a short break. We have next ASEAN Calendar, so stay tuned.
พักกันสักครู่ค่ะ
Welcome back to the show into ASEAN Calendar. Once again, many highlights to mark your calendars with.
ใช่แล้วค่ะกลับเข้าสู่รายการ ASEAN Challenge ในช่วงนี้ ASEAN Calendar ไปมาร์กปฏิทินกันค่ะว่ามีอีเวนต์อะไรกำลังจะเกิดขึ้นบ้างค่ะ September 16th, International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. The United Nations International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer is celebrated on the 16th of September every year, commemorating the 1987 signing of the Montreal Protocol on Substances that Deplete the Ozone Layer. The day advocates activities and create awareness on topics related to climate change and ozone depletion. The ozone layer, a fragile shield of gas, protects the Earth from the harmful portion of the sun's rays, thus helping to preserve life on the planet. As such, it is paramount that we protect the ozone layer from harmful substances such as HCFCs or hydrochlorofluorocarbons. HCFCs are both ozone-depleting substances and powerful greenhouse gases that contribute to the thinning of the ozone layer. nearly 2,000 times more potent than carbon dioxide in adding to global warming, the successful reduction of HCFC emissions remains one of the UN's greatest challenges. However, the gradual phasing out of controlled uses of ozone-depleting substances has not only helped protect the ozone layer for this future generations, but has also contributed significantly to global efforts to address climate change. As a result, it has protected human health and ecosystems by limiting the harmful ultraviolet radiation from reaching Earth. Last year's theme celebrated the 30th anniversary of the Vienna Convention for the Protection of the Ozone Layer, supported by the slogan, "Ozone and Climate, Restored by a World United." The theme for 2017 is yet to be announced, but visit the UN's webpage to find out more. September 19, Puchom Ben, Ancestors Day in Cambodia. Puchom Ben is one of Cambodia's most important Buddhist festivals. It lasts 15 days, determined by the lunar calendar, with the formal name for the last day of the festival called Prashum Benda. Most Khmers call the entire festival by its colloquial name, Puchom Ben. In English, it's called Ancestors Day. Ancestors Day is an exclusively Cambodian religious festival based on their belief in karma and reincarnation. Although most people are believed to be reincarnated at death, those with bad karma can be trapped in the spirit world, unable to be reincarnated. At Puchom Ben time every year, these souls are released from the spirit world to find their living relatives and repent. Cambodians use this time to revisit pagodas, pray for the souls of their dead relatives, and in one of the most interesting twists, feed them. During Puchom Ben, Khmers cook food from the simple to the elaborate and bring it to pagodas. They believe that offering food to the souls of their relatives eases their suffering. These souls are seen as hungry ghosts with enormous appetites, but pinhole mouths, a true torment. It is believed that being greedy, envious, or jealous in one's life can lead to one becoming a hungry ghost after death. Most Khmers believe that preparing food for the Buddhist monks is an act that transfers merit to the hungry ghost, while many believe that the food itself is transferred from the monks to their ancestors. Some believe that during Puchom Ben, the food offerings are transferred directly to the dead, and you'll see people throwing sticky rice into fields for the ghosts during this time. Formally, the holiday runs from September 12th or the 13th to the 27th or 28th, depending on which calendar you believe, but businesses stay open until Monday, September 26th, which is a public holiday, as is Tuesday and Wednesday. Many Khmers choose to take Thursday and Friday off as well so they can return to their family homes, but businesses that deal with tourists will remain open for this duration. It will be more difficult to find motos and tuk-tuks during this time. If you'd like to observe some of the Puchom Ben traditions, you can visit any of the pagodas in Phnom Penh or its surrounds. Cambodians are always very happy to share their traditions with interested, respectful visitors. Please remember to dress respectfully. Shoulders and legs should be covered. Do not wear shorts or singlets. Khmer men wear dress pants and a white shirt, and women wear long skirts and a white shirt. Shoes are removed when entering pagodas. Small donations of money at the pagoda are appreciated. Often donations are as little as 100 riel, so do not feel compelled to give large amounts. September 21st, Muharram Islamic New Year in Indonesia. For many people, the New Year begins on January 1st and is fixed on that date in the calendar, but it's not the same for all cultures. In the case of Muslims, their Islamic calendar is based on the moon, whereas the calendar used by much of the Western world is based on the sun. This means the two are not aligned, so Islamic months and events move each year. Muslims have their own New Year which falls on different dates each year. The same is true in the Western Christian calendar for Easter, which is also based on the moon, and which also determines the date for Lent, Shrove Tuesday, Ash Wednesday, and Mother's Day. What is Islamic New Year? Islamic New Year, also called Hijri New Year or Arabic New Year, is the start of the Islamic calendar year. It's the first day of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar. This is often called the month of remembrance and is the holiest month after Ramadan. Sometimes the new year itself is referred to as Muharram too. The calendar began in 622 AD, the year the Prophet Muhammad migrated from Mecca to Medina, then called Yathrib. This journey is known as the Hijrah. Muslim parents often tell their children that the start of the new year was when Muhammad escaped from Mecca after being warned of an assassination plot. We are heading into year 1439 for Muslim worshippers. Islamic New Year is much less of an event than the two major Eid festivals held each year, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. How is it worked out? The Islamic calendar is based on sightings of the first crescent of the new moon at Mecca in Saudi Arabia. But these days, the Saudi government uses astronomical charts to work out the calendar in advance, rather than hope for a reliable observation of the moon. Saudi officials started the calendar to end confusion caused by inaccurate moon sightings, and so it could plan ahead for civic events. The data for the calendars come from the Institute of Astronomical and Geophysical Research of the King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology in Riyadh. More than half of the amateur sightings reported in the past are thought to have been wrong. Some Muslim organizations in other countries, such as the Islamic Society of North America, follow this calendar as well. Islamic New Year 2017 is expected to begin at sunset on Thursday, September 21st, and end at sunset on Friday, September 22nd. That's the date on the Saudi astronomical calendar. But for those Muslims basing their calendar on a sighting, they won't decide the exact date until shortly beforehand. If the new moon is spotted on the 29th day of the existing month, the next day is decreed to be the start of the next month, and in this case, the new year. If the moon isn't seen, then the month goes on for another day before the next month begins. What happens at Islamic New Year? What and when is the day of Ashura? As this is the start of the month of remembrance, there are solemn and commemorative events rather than joyful celebrations. As part of that day, many Muslims take part in an act of mourning called matam. This involves men gathering in large groups on the streets for ceremonial chest beating using their hands, or sometimes even using a metal chain with blades fixed to it. The latter method has been banned in Iran and Lebanon, but is still practiced in India and Bangladesh. Some places of worship offer free meals from the 9th to the 11th days of the new month. In addition, some Muslims take pilgrimage to the Imam Hussein shrine at the burial site of Imam Hussein ibn Ali. Other rituals include takbir, an act of mourning by Shia Muslims that involve hitting themselves on the head with a sword or on the back or chest with blades on chains. There is also tazai, in which groups of performers reenact the Battle of Karbala. These can be seen in rural areas of Iran. The term is also used for miniature replicas of the Mausoleum of Karbala, made of bamboo and paper and carried in procession in South Asia and the Caribbean. Other acts of mourning include Shia lamentations by reading poems called Noha, as well as public recitations from the Book of Gardens of the Martyrs, and tells the tale of the tragedy at Karbala. And those were the colorful events going on around our ASEAN bloc during this period. We're going to take a short break now. Coming up next, we have the ASEAN interview. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching the ASEAN Challenge, and on to ASEAN Interview. We have an interesting topic for you, just as always. So let's take a look.
One woman in the Philippine capital of Manila is taking a stand against the country's war on drugs by getting up on stage and transforming between 4 different characters, all suffering the consequences of the bloodshed.
I think it is one of the best ways to make people move out of their comfort zones so that they too, especially those who continue to be apathetic, to get out of their comfortable spaces and actually do something about the extrajudicial killings. Because unless we do, it will just keep on going on and on and on. We as artists will continue to do what we have to do to get people's attention, to get the president's attention, to get General Bato's attention, to know the true sentiment of the people. And I feel very strongly that we have our work cut out for us as artists to wake people up, to wake our president up, and to tell him that we are against his war on drugs.
Tulungan niyo po kami na ipalapit kay Pangulo. Nararamdaman namin sa loob na umupo siya ng buong isang taon.
Maraming salamat at mabuhay ang karapatang bata.
The more this play is staged sa lahat ng mga pwedeng tumanggap sa kanya, mas maraming makakapanood, mas maraming makakapag-isip, at ang kanilang opinion about this matter will be much more informed. They will be curious. They will start asking questions. They will start investigating, and therefore we will as a people, hopefully get to the bottom of this.
Thousands have been killed since President Rodrigo Duterte launched the campaign last year. Yet Filipinos remain largely supportive of it as a solution to tackling rampant crime. May Penner is known for her satire and hoping that her performance involving a policeman turned assassin, a widowed Zumba dancer, a photojournalist, and an orphaned child will add to the condemnation of the drug war and urge people to speak out about the death toll. One audience member, Kakai Pamaran, said she believed that the more the play is staged, the more it'll encourage people to be curious and start asking questions. Human rights groups, the Catholic Church, and opposition lawmakers have raised alarms about the killings that have focused largely on the urban poor and have not spared young people. More than 3,800 people have been killed in police anti-drug operations in the past 15 months, and at least 2,100 other homicides were likely drug-related. Police have rejected allegations by human rights groups that they are executing suspected users and dealers.
And that was our ASEAN interview for this week and wraps up our program. We'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ